As we grow older, one of the most common worries we have is about our memory. We may find ourselves walking into a room and forgetting why we went there. We might meet someone we know, but their name slips away just when we need it. Or maybe we can't remember where we put our keys for the third time this week. These little lapses can feel frustrating, sometimes even frightening. But here's the good news: our brains are not fixed, and they don't have to decline at a rapid pace. What we eat plays a huge role in keeping our memory sharp, our thinking clear, and our minds full of life well into our later years. Food is not just fuel for our bodies, it's information for our brains. Every bite we take sends messages to our cells, either nourishing and protecting them or creating stress and damage. And when it comes to the brain, certain foods contain natural compounds that act like repair crews, sweeping away damage, calming inflammation, and encouraging new brain cells to grow. Let's start with a story. Margaret is a 68-year-old retired teacher who always prided herself on her quick wit and storytelling skills. But over the last couple of years, she noticed her memory wasn't as sharp. She struggled to recall the names of her students when she met them in the grocery store. And she found herself pausing mid-sentence to remember a word. Her doctor assured her this was normal aging, but Margaret wanted more than normal. She wanted to feel sharp again. So, she made a simple change. She began adding a handful of blueberries to her breakfast every morning, switched her usual sandwich bread for whole grain, and added salmon to her dinner twice a week. Within months, she felt more alert, more focused, and she could once again keep up with her grandchildren's rapid-fire stories. Margaret's improvement didn't happen because of one magic food, but because she started giving her brain the nutrients it had been missing. One of the most powerful categories of brain-boosting foods is berries, especially blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries. They're rich in antioxidants called flavonoids, which reduce inflammation in the brain and improve communication between brain cells. Studies have shown that older adults who eat berries regularly have slower rates of cognitive decline, sometimes by as much as 2.5 years compared to those who don't. Think about that. Just by adding berries to your weekly diet, you could help your brain stay younger for longer. Another key player for memory is omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA, found in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. DHA is a major structural component of the brain, and low levels are linked to memory problems and even depression. Eating fish 2 to 3 times a week can help maintain flexible, well-functioning brain cell membranes, which makes it easier for your brain to send and receive signals. If you're not a fish eater, walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds are also excellent plant-based sources of omega-3. Then there's leafy green spinach, kale, collard greens, and Swiss chard. These are packed with vitamins like folate, vitamin K, and lutein, which protect brain tissue and help keep your thinking sharp. In one long-term study, older adults who ate just 1 serving of leafy greens a day had the cognitive abilities of people 11 years younger. Imagine that. By eating a daily salad or sautéed greens, you could give your brain more than a decade of extra clarity. Whole grains are another piece of the puzzle. Your brain runs primarily on glucose, and whole grains like oatmeal, brown rice, and quinoa provide a steady supply of energy without the spikes and crashes you get from refined carbs. That steady energy helps you stay focused throughout the day, without the mid-afternoon fog. And let's not forget hydration. Even mild dehydration can shrink brain tissue and make it harder to think clearly. For older adults, the thirst signal can become weaker, so drinking water regularly even when you don't feel thirsty is important for memory and concentration. These foods and habits aren't about quick fixes. They're about creating an environment where your brain can thrive, just like a garden needs sunlight, water, and good soil to flourish. Your brain needs antioxidants, healthy fats, vitamins, and steady energy to perform at its best. When you give it those things consistently, you'll notice the difference not only in your memory but in your mood, energy, and overall quality of life. When we talk about brain health, it's not only about adding the right foods but also about removing or reducing the ones that can harm our memory. Certain foods create inflammation, spike blood sugar, or damage blood vessels in the brain. All of which can make it harder to think clearly. Highly processed foods, things like packaged snacks, sugary desserts, and fast food are high in refined sugars, unhealthy fats, and artificial additives. Over time, these can promote oxidative stress, which is like rust forming on the brain's delicate wiring. That's why shifting toward whole, minimally processed foods is such a powerful step. Let's look at another real-life example. Robert is 72 and has always been active, walking every morning, playing golf with friends, and gardening. But he noticed that his focus during conversations wasn't what it used to be. He often forgot details from recent chats, and his wife would have to remind him about appointments. Robert's diet was heavy on white bread, pastries, and processed meats. After learning about the connection between diet and brain health, he swapped his morning pastry for oatmeal topped with berries and nuts, replaced white bread with whole grain, and added more colorful vegetables to his lunch and dinner. Within 6 months, Robert reported feeling more present in conversations, less mentally tired in the afternoons, and more confident in his ability to remember details. His story shows us that memory is not fixed, it responds to the care we give it. One important nutrient to highlight here is vitamin E. This fat-soluble antioxidant protects brain cells from damage caused by free radicals. You can find it in nuts like almonds and hazelnuts, seeds like sunflower seeds, and healthy oils such as extra virgin olive oil. Research has linked higher vitamin E intake to better cognitive performance in older adults. Another brain-loving nutrient is choline, found in eggs, especially the yolks. Choline helps produce acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter important for memory and learning. Having a couple of eggs a few times a week can be a simple, affordable way to support brain function. Spices also play a surprising role in memory health. Turmeric, for example, contains curcumin, a compound that can cross the blood-brain barrier and reduce inflammation while boosting levels of brain derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a protein that supports the growth of new neurons. Adding turmeric to soups, stews, or even your morning tea can be a small change with big potential benefits. And don't forget about dark chocolate. Yes, you heard that right. Dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa is rich in flavonoids, caffeine, and antioxidants that can enhance memory, improve mood, and even support problem-solving skills. A small square after lunch can be both a treat and a brain boost. Of course, food is only one part of the picture. The way we combine these brain-healthy foods with lifestyle habits can make a huge difference. For example, eating a diet rich in colorful fruits and vegetables works even better when paired with regular physical activity. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, delivering more oxygen and nutrients to keep brain cells thriving. Social engagement also plays a critical role. Sharing a healthy meal with friends, cooking new recipes with family, or joining a community cooking class doesn't just feed your body, it strengthens the social bonds that are deeply connected to brain. In health, studies consistently show that people who maintain strong social connections have lower rates of memory decline. Sleep is another piece of the puzzle. During deep sleep, your brain clears out toxins and processes memories from the day. Without enough quality sleep, even the healthiest diet can only go so far. Try to aim for 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep each night. And consider calming bedtime rituals like herbal tea or gentle stretching to help your body wind down. Stress management is equally important. Chronic stress floods the brain with cortisol, a hormone that can damage the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. Foods rich in magnesium, like pumpkin seeds, spinach, and avocados, can help regulate stress responses. Pair these foods with daily relaxation techniques like mindful breathing, nature walks, or listening to music, and you create an environment where your brain feels safe and supported. These habits reinforce each other. Eating the right foods makes it easier to sleep well, manage stress, and stay active. Staying active and engaged makes it easier to choose nourishing foods. Over time, this creates a powerful cycle that protects not only your memory but your overall health. When you Think about your brain. Imagine it as a treasured library. Every memory is a book, every skill a carefully preserved manuscript. What you eat determines whether that library stays well lit, organized, and accessible, or whether the shelves start to gather dust. And the best part is that you can start protecting that library today with your very next meal. So how do we put all of this into action in a way that feels easy, enjoyable, and sustainable? The key is to build habits, not restrictions. Instead of thinking about what you have to give up, focus on what you can add. Start with one brain-friendly food at each meal. For breakfast, maybe it's oatmeal topped with blueberries and walnuts, or scrambled eggs with spinach and tomatoes. For lunch, try a colorful salad with leafy greens, grilled salmon, avocado, and a sprinkle of sunflower seeds. For dinner, think roasted vegetables, quinoa, and a side of baked mackerel or sardines. These combinations aren't just good for your brain, they're satisfying, full of flavor, and deeply nourishing. And remember, healthy eating doesn't have to be perfect. If you enjoy dessert, choose a small piece of dark chocolate instead of a sugary pastry. If you love bread, opt for whole grain rather than white. Small swaps done consistently will build momentum over time. It is also helpful to keep your kitchen stocked with brain-boosting staples so you can make good choices without overthinking. Keep a jar of almonds by the couch instead of chips. Store washed berries at eye level in the fridge so they're the first thing you see. Have canned salmon, olive oil, and whole grains in your pantry so healthy meals are always within reach. And when possible, cook at home more often. Home-cooked meals let you control ingredients, reduce excess salt and sugar, and add more vegetables without effort. Cooking can also be a joyful, mindful activity, a time to slow down, connect with your food, and appreciate the care you're giving your body and brain. Let's revisit Margaret and Robert from earlier. Both started with small, manageable changes. Margaret with her morning berries and salmon dinners. Robert with whole grains and more vegetables. Neither of them tried to overhaul their diet overnight. They made one change at a time, paid attention to how they felt, and built from there. This is the kind of approach that lasts because it fits into real life. It's also important to celebrate progress, no matter how small. Maybe you notice you can recall names faster. Maybe you feel more alert during the day. Maybe your mood improves. These are signs that your brain is responding to the care you're giving it. Acknowledge those wins. They're proof that what you're doing matters. And if you ever feel discouraged, remember that brain health is a lifelong journey, not a race. Even if you haven't eaten perfectly in the past, your brain can still benefit from changes you make today. The science is clear. Adults over 50 who eat more antioxidant-rich fruits, omega-3 fatty acids, leafy greens, whole grains, and healthy fats tend to have sharper memories, slower cognitive decline, and better overall mental function. Combine that with regular movement, social engagement, good sleep, and stress management, and you create a strong foundation for both your mind and your body. One of the most inspiring things I've seen in my work is how these changes ripple out into other areas of life. When your mind feels sharp, you're more confident about trying new things, joining a book club, learning a language, traveling to a new place. You engage more fully with the people you love. You savor the small moments, laughing with friends, telling stories to your grandchildren, remembering the lyrics to a favorite song. That's the real gift of taking care of your brain. It allows you to stay present in the life you've built and continue adding new chapters to your story. So as you think about your next meal, ask yourself, how can I make it just a little more brain-friendly? Maybe it's adding a handful of berries, swapping out white rice for quinoa, or cooking with olive oil instead of butter. These small, thoughtful choices add up, and with every choice, you're investing in the most valuable resource you have: your ability to remember, to connect, and to live fully. I want you to imagine yourself years from now, still recalling vivid memories, still learning, still enjoying the company of friends and family. That future is not just possible, it's something you can actively shape starting now. Every forkful of leafy greens, every sip of water, every serving of fish or nuts is a step toward keeping your mind as vibrant as your spirit. And when you nourish your brain, You're not just protecting your memory, you're preserving your independence, your joy, and your place in the stories yet to be told. So let's honor our incredible minds by feeding them well, moving our bodies, connecting with others, and embracing the habits that keep our memories clear and our hearts full, because the more we care for our brains today, the more beautiful tomorrows we can look forward to, no matter our age.